Shringam Dalita Hiranyakashipur Tanubringam Keshavadhita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare
Hare Krishna. Are everybody enjoying the Aarti today? You have to say louder, yes. Yes. We have later a lot of prasadam, so you have to say louder, yes. Yes. Yeah. All the little ones say louder, yes. Yes. We have extra puri for you, don't worry. Bolo Hare Krishna. A nice weather outside, yeah? So later on you're going to have a nice party. So now this program will be continue. Bhaktivedanta Manor. Anybody first time here? Yeah, almost everyone coming every week. That will be great. And the program going to be continue. Kirtan, bhajan, and especially 7 o'clock. Devotee going to dance here. And if you like to come, more than welcome. Now I think Kirtan going to be later on, or lecture as well. Prasadam is outside. You can sit down here. How long you want to? Be a long queue. Yeah? You have to remember, all little one. Say Hare Krishna. थोड़ा लाउडा बोले छे ना, बोलो हरे कृष्णा. हरे कृष्णा. कृष्णा कृष्णा. हरे हरे. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you. Go talk to the pujari. Talk to this guy. This one here. Where do you stay?
Okay, if you went here, then you will come. I told you what to do.
I'm learning part of our learning. I can play any kirtan. To go. I'm learning.
So you know how to sing before, yes?
Yeah, but I'm from a devotee family, but I've never sang kirtan.
Okay, forgot it. Do you go outside program and do? Like to go?
I will go this day.
Okay. Because I do so many program also. Lecture going on. Come here, come here, come here.
And usually I play when I go to programs, especially I play the violin.
I want to get out of here before they start the class. Make my way towards
But until like what, 9 o'clock, right? You get seats.
You gonna play Madanga?
Hare Krishna. So thank you all for being with us this afternoon here at Bhaktivedanta Manor. Now we'll be having a short discussion on the Bhagavad Gita. So we invite you to participate. It will be very much interactive. We'll talk about one of the verses from the Gita and really unpack it. So we'll start with a prayer, which is called Jai Radha Madhava. If you know it, please sing along. Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Gokulananda Radha Gokulananda Shri Radhe Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Okay, so once again, thank you all for being here this afternoon. So today we'll be reading from the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, text number 9. So who here has actually read the Bhagavad Gita? Any scholars? Okay, we've got some. Okay, a few in the room. Okay. If you haven't read the full Gita, at least you might have heard some verses from it. Yes? Okay. So how we'll do it is I'll recite the Sanskrit because that means that we remain true to the scriptures as they were given to us. And then we'll also look at the word-for-word translations and also look at the meaning in the current English context. So I'll go line by line and you can repeat after me. I think they're just getting it up on the screen, so I'll just wait for that to come up. Three-nine. Gita 3:9. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Okay, so we've got the verse up on the screen, either on this screen or the one at the back, whichever is more convenient for you. So like I said, I'll recite line by line and you can repeat after me. Yagyarthat karmano nyatra loko yam karma bandanaha tad artham karma kaunteya mukta sangha samachara yagyarthat karmano nyatra loko yam karma bandanaha tad artham karma kaunteya mukta sangha samachara. One last time. Yagyarthat karmano nyatra loko yam karma bandanaha tadartham karma kaunteya mukta sangha samachara. Okay, any brave souls who want to try leading that and the rest of us will follow? It's the one thing you can say you did when you went to the manor today. You actually recited the Sanskrit. Who was that? Sorry, yes. We'll have two people, so yes, please. Yagyarthat karmano nyatra loko yam karma bandanaha tadartham karma kaunteya mukta sangha samachara. Thank you. That was beautiful. And do you want to try it? Yagyarthat karmano nyatra loko yam karma bandanaha tad artham karma kaunteya mukta sangha samachara. Thank you. Was that your first time? That was really good. Well done. So we'll just look at the word-for-word translations. Yagyarthat, so you can repeat after me. Yagyarthat, done only for the sake of Yagya or Vishnu. Karmanaha, done work. Anyatra, otherwise. Lokaha, the world. Ayam, this. Karma bandanaha, bondage by work. Tat, of him. Artham, for the sake. Karma, work. Kaunteya, O son of Kunti. Mukta Sangaha, liberated from association. Samachara, do perfectly. So we translate this in prose as work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed. Otherwise, work causes bondage in this material world. Therefore, O son of Kunti, perform your prescribed duties for his satisfaction, and in that way you will always remain free from bondage. So that's what Krishna says, and then we have something called a purport, which is a commentary on this verse so that we can understand it, how it applies to us in our present day. So this has been written by our founder, Srila Prabhupada, who's behind us. So I'll just read through that as well. Since one has to work even for the simple maintenance of the body, the prescribed duties for a particular social position and quality are so made that the purpose can be fulfilled. Yajna means Lord Vishnu, or sacrificial performances. All sacrificial performances also are meant for the satisfaction of Lord Vishnu. The Vedas enjoin Yajno vai Vishnuhu. In other words, the same purpose is served whether one performs prescribed yajnas or directly serves Lord Vishnu. Krishna consciousness is therefore performance of yajna as it is prescribed in this verse. The Varnashram institution also aims at satisfying Lord Vishnu. Varnashramacharavata Purushena Paraha Puman Vishnur Aradhyate, which comes from the Vishnu Puran 388. Therefore, one has to work for the satisfaction of Vishnu. Any other work done in this material world will be a cause of bondage. For both good and evil work have their reactions, and any reactions bind the performer. Therefore, one has to work in Krishna consciousness to satisfy Krishna or Vishnu. And while performing such activities, one is in a liberated stage. This is the great art of doing work. And in the beginning, this process requires very expert guidance. One should therefore act very diligently under the expert guidance of a devotee of Lord Krishna, or under the direct instruction of Lord Krishna himself, under whom Arjuna had the opportunity to work. Nothing should be performed for sense gratification, but everything should be done for the satisfaction of Krishna. This practice will not only save one from the reaction of work, but also gradually elevate one to transcendental loving service of the Lord, which alone can raise one to the kingdom of God. So, before we discuss it, just gonna recite some prayers, requesting the blessings of our previous teachers who have shared this knowledge with us. If you know it, please free to recite along. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, we're reading from the Bhagavad Gita. Quite a few people said they've come across it, but they may not have read it cover to cover. So I'll give an overview of where we are. We're in chapter 3, but who knows, first of all, what's happened, like what is the setting of the Bhagavad Gita? Does anybody know where the Gita was spoken? No? Kurukshetra, yes. So there's a huge battle about to take place. It says it trumps any kind of battle that we have seen in our lifetimes and that we will ever see. It's a huge battle, millions and millions of soldiers on either side ready to fight. And then one of the chief characters in this epic, Arjuna, he says to his charioteer, who happens to be Krishna, he says to him, please drive the chariot in the middle of the battlefield. I want to see who I'm about to fight. So Arjuna drives the chariot, and then Krishna drives the chariot, and then Arjuna is observing who he's about to fight. And who does he see on the opposite side? His teachers, his family, his cousins, uncles, all of it. and suddenly he becomes overwhelmed. He says, why are we fighting? Why are we about to kill each other when we say that we're family, we're friends, we're teachers? So it's a valid argument, right? Why should there be war? Why should there be killing? So as he's looking at all these people, he resolves and he says to Krishna, I will not fight. And so Krishna in the second chapter then starts to explain, first of all, who Arjuna is in relation to Krishna, who all these other people are. So he, first of all, gives us our identity. So he says, actually, you are in this body of Arjuna, as a warrior, but actually you are something beyond that. Does anybody know who we are beyond this body? The soul, yes. So that is our real identity. And what Krishna says is that we have two dharmas to follow. We have something called a Sanatan Dharma. That is the dharma that we have to do according to our soul. And then we have something called a Swadharma. That is our dharma based on this specific body. And after he gives that, then he tells us, actually, if you practice dharma, the result of it is that we become somebody who is self-realized. So through just this first principle, there's one lesson, first of all, we can take away, is that when we're about to do anything important in life, we can just take a pause and first say, I'm going to think before I act. The tendency in this world is we act, and then later we'll think, actually, what did I do? And so that brings us to the third chapter. The third chapter is called Karma Yoga. So who knows what karma actually is? Does anybody want to give me a definition of what they may know what karma is? Shout it out. What goes around comes around. It's the most common definition we hear. The reactions. Any actions. Okay. Do you want to expand on that? Everything we do is karma. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay. So we'll expand on that definition. Any other definitions that people may be familiar with? Work. Prescribed duties. Okay. So we're covering kind of generally what we understand as karma. So before we get into the definition of karma, in the first two verses of this chapter, Krishna and Arjuna are having the conversation, and Arjuna outlines his confusion. He says, you've just told me that it's good to kind of do work without any fruitive intention. But then is it not better to actually give up work? Because that way there's no reaction that will come from work. So in the first few verses of this chapter, this is what Krishna answers. He says, we can't just stop action, because even when we're not acting, we're still acting in a particular way. So say I'm not doing anything, I'm still sitting, or I may be sleeping. So that's still action. And through inaction, we don't actually become free from the reaction. So then, like the analogy that is given is, if I have a cataract in my eye, right? Like as we kind of grow old, there's a risk of cataract in the eye where our eye becomes blurry. So if I want to treat cataract, am I going to take out that eye? No. There's an operation that can be done to take out the cataract, right? And we still maintain our vision. So similarly, it's not that we just stop acting or we take out that action completely. We simply treat that blurry vision that comes from the cataract. Even if we want to stop acting, we can't, because we have in our mind so many things that are going on. So our mind will constantly continue, which is why even those who want to renounce everything, they'll find if you just go and sit in a forest, your mind is still racing, it's thinking about so many different things. So what do? In the previous verse, which we discussed last weekend, Krishna says in verse 8 that we have to do our duty. We can't just simply pretend to stop all activity. And so this is what we come to in this verse, in verse 9. They say, there is a new restaurant in town, but there's no menu. You simply get what you deserve. So that's what karma is like. But Krishna is talking about something beyond karma here. He's talking about something called karma yoga. Any clues what that extra affix might be? What is karma yoga? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you've got it spot on. Is karma yoga. So first of all, do we know what yoga means? Let's cycle back a little bit. Meditation. Mm-hmm. A lot of bodily exercise. Yeah, that's what yoga is known as, right? In today's world, when you say yoga, people think about downward dog, all these poses. Controlling your mind. So yes, we can understand. This people already understand that there's something beyond those physical exercises. Yoga is not just about those physical exercises or meditation. There's so many misunderstandings of what yoga actually is. The word yoga comes from the Sanskrit yuj, which means to connect. So actually, many people practice yoga, but what are they actually practicing? What yoga is actually meant, we understand that yoga has actually lost its soul. It's not just about maintaining the body, but it's about awakening the soul within our body. It's not about just looking good on the outside. It's more about experiencing God on the inside. It's not just about being able to connect your head with your toes and being able to touch your toes. It's more about connecting with God and overcoming these material desires that we may have. So we understand actually yoga is a very profound science, something that we've all been looking for. Krishna is teaching us we pursue many things in this world, like we have work, we have family, so many things that we pursue. But after all is said and done, has anyone ever felt that after everything that we do, there is, when we sit alone with our mind and heart, there is something missing? Has anyone felt like that? Right? Maybe I left something somewhere. Even when I'm surrounded by success, you may have, the perfect job, the perfect family. You look at all those people who have achieved everything, but there always feels that there's something missing. It feels like there's a vacuum. The great author, C.S. Lewis, he said famously, "If I find in myself a desire that no experience in this world can fulfill, then I can only conclude that I was made for another world." So this is something that the Bhagavad Gita addresses. Krishna is teaching us, unless we reach that point of yoga, which is connection with divinity, there will always be a sense in our heart that something is missing. So in the case of work, the principle is that we work for the purpose of spiritual understanding. So how do I realize my spiritual identity through work? The secret is I have to act in a way that does not increase my identification with this body. So it requires us to first of all understand that I am something beyond this body. Famous philosopher once said, "I think, therefore I am," implying that we are the mind. So he went one level deeper. But beyond the mind, there is also something, which is the soul. So our work, we can make that into a yajna. A yajna, so who's familiar with the term yajna here? What do you know yajna as? Offering. Okay. Yeah, it's a good definition. And anyone else? Divine. Okay. Any other, who, in kind of common culture, what have you come across a yajna as? Havan. Yes, fire sacrifices. So that's what a lot of people understand yajna as, like the fire sacrifice that you do, you put ghee in, etc. But how can we turn our work into yajna? What are we supposed to offer? And how does that keep us free from bondage, as what Krishna is describing here? So Krishna says, being successful in your work, in your career, that can also bring great spiritual connection. There's a difference between growth, success, and happiness. We generally think that if I have growth, then that will lead to success. And if I have success, that will lead to happiness. Does everybody agree with that?
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily. Do you want to say why not?
That's very linear relationship and association.
Hmm.
But it's all body and mind, it's a connection of body, mind and soul.
Yes.
And actually your inner self, inner thinking, which might be different from
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
how you perceive as a success.
Yes. Yeah, so it's not so linear as you say. You know, like growth. Sorry, do you want to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that you can be like the most successful
Hmm.
person and can be the miserable at the same time.
Yes. Spot on. Both of you. You captured it. You know, growth doesn't always mean that we're going to be successful. Growth can come from challenges. Agree? So growth doesn't always equate to success. And similarly, as you say, success doesn't always equate to happiness. It is the intention behind what we do that matters. It's not just the action itself. You know, when we look at actually just where this battle is set, in the battle of Kurukshetra, it's much more than a battle. You know, all this killing is about to take place. But what does Krishna say as the Gita goes on? He says the purpose behind the war means that actually the war is being fought, you know, like if you know the story of the Mahabharata, the war happens only as a last resort. They've tried all forms of diplomacy. They've tried everything to try and prevent this war. And even say we agree that, okay, the war is going to take place, Krishna promises that there will be no reactions because Arjuna is fighting on the basis of higher authority. So he's not fighting for himself. He's not fighting. In the first chapter, he says, what is the point of this war when if I kill all my family members, then who am I going to enjoy all of this with? But actually, he's not fighting for this enjoyment. He's fighting because Krishna is telling him to. So what we learn from this is we don't give up the action. We simply have to give up the self-centered motivation for doing something. And that's what Prabhupada says towards the end of the purport, is that actually we perform for Vishnu, not for ourselves. And that's why later in the Gita, Krishna will say, Yad karoshi yad ashnasi yad juhosi dadasi yad tapasyasi konteya tat kurushva mad arpanam. Whatever you eat, whatever actions you perform, whatever offerings you make, whatever you give in charity, do that as an offering unto me. And that is how we become free from that reaction. So let me ask you a question now. How do people generally relax in this world? Give me some ways. Perhaps you might choose to relax. You want to say? Spend time with family, go on holiday. Yeah. Prayers. Okay. Nice. What was that, sir?
Do the things what you like, what will make you feel like relaxing.
Can you give me an example?
Watching TV.
Watching TV. Yes. Yes.
What gives you pleasure? The pleasure is not it's like it's in different way than the spiritual way. But
Yes. So yes, this is generally how people relax in this world, as you say. They actually did research on what are the 5 or 4 most common ways that people relax in this world. What they found, watching TV was the first, as you say. Scrolling on social media. Who here is guilty? I can say, I'm pretty sure we all are. Gaming is another one that a lot of people resort to try and relax. And then sleep or nap is also a form of relaxing. But when you look at all of these, can you see a common thread? What is the thing that is common across all of these? Action. Addiction. Okay, yes. We could be laziness. Okay.
I think it's to escape from in suffering or whatever we are.
Yes.
Present condition, we try to escape from that.
Yes. Yes, spot on, both of them actually. They are both addictive, but actually it's because we're looking for a form of escapism. Whether that's watching TV, we're trying to numb, whatever we may be going through. We want to forget what we have to deal with, even if temporarily, just so that we can function. But actually, what are we trying to escape from? What are people actually looking for? And this is what we come back to, is yoga. There's a search or connection for another reality. So Krishna here is starting to teach us the art of yoga. He explains our work, our career, our family, our daily function. All of that can be yoga. And it's not just something that people do in the Himalayas or in the yoga studio these days. Karma yoga is the yoga of work. So how we pursue success has to be done in a certain way. And how we utilize that success also has to be done in a certain way. So I want to share two things with you, how we do both of these. The first is called dharma, and the second, seva. So if we pursue success following dharma, and once we have that success, and we use it in seva, then that success becomes karma yoga. And that kind of pursuit doesn't just bring material success, but also brings deep and lasting connection with God. For example, if I was just, many of us may be watching the cricket that's happening. There's IPL going on. And if you're familiar with cricket, you may have a batsman who starts, but then you have, various other batsmen about to come, and one of them may have a higher strike rate. So the original batsman may at some point sacrifice his wicket so that the later batsman can come and accumulate more runs. So this is an example, a very simple example, but just an example of how somebody can give up something for something better. So if our life isn't founded upon dharma, the principles of righteousness, then no matter what we achieve in this world, we will find we lose in the process. If people don't abide by dharma, they may earn money, but they may lose their integrity, perhaps even their health. They may lose their relationships, perhaps peace of mind, their character. So if we don't follow dharma, we may find in our wealth, we actually become very poor. There was a story of a king who opened up his lands, and he said to all his subjects, "Today, I'm in a very giving mood. Whatever you can run towards in 2 minutes, that much, so you have to run and come back. And as long as you come back to that extent that you've run, I will give you that much land from this kingdom." So the first guy, there was 3 guys ready to go for that challenge. The first guy, he's like, "I've got 2 minutes." So he runs for a minute, looks at his watch, 1 minute up, and then runs back. Pretty smart, right? That's generally what we would do. Second guy is feeling a bit more optimistic. So he starts running, then it's 1 minute, 10 seconds. So now he's only got 50 seconds. So he's like, okay, now I really have to run for my life, and he really runs. Eventually he makes it back. So he ran much faster on the way back. Now there's a third guy. He's like, this guy did it in 1 minute, 10 seconds. I think I can go a little bit further. So he runs 1 minute, 20 seconds. He does another extra 10 seconds. But this means that he's only got 40 seconds to come back. So he's like, if I don't get back, I'll lose everything, and I've run for no reason. So again, he decides to run like his life depended on it. And eventually, 2 minutes comes, and he just makes it. He made it in 40 seconds. But the next moment, he had a heart attack. And he couldn't enjoy the land that he got. As the saying goes, what profiteth a man who gains the whole world but loses his soul? So we understand from this, success must be pursued, but we have to earn with integrity. Find a balance in your life. Otherwise, that success won't leave you in a good position. You see, most successful people, as we were saying earlier, have made the biggest contributions in this world, but at least externally, they don't feel satisfied. It is said we are a world of smiling faces, but crying hearts. Who can relate to that? Right? Externally, we're one thing, but internally, there's a whole nother story going on. So as I was saying, the yoga of work, karma yoga, requires 2 things. Pursue success with dharma, or purpose, and once we have that success, we share generously, with generosity. So we use it to benefit others in a selfless way. There's a great writer from India named Rabindranath Tagore. Some of you may have heard of him. He once said, "I went to sleep and dreamt life is a joy. I then woke up and realized that life is service. I began to serve and then realized that service is joy." So when we serve others and utilize that success in selfless service, it even attracts the attention of God. And when we begin to dedicate ourselves to a cause that is beyond ourselves, then magical things begin to happen in our lives. That space of selflessness is where divinity actually begins to manifest in our lives. From the previous verse, there was text number 4, where Arjuna thought his work was actually an obstacle. And so he wanted to leave everything behind. You know, he mentions this word, sannyasa, i.e. renounce everything. And so he wanted to become spiritual, but he felt his work, i.e. being a warrior, was actually an obstacle to him becoming spiritual. So what Krishna said is, if you really want to be spiritual, be on this battlefield, be successful as a warrior, but pursue it with dharma. So what was his dharma? To be a warrior. And so if he acted according to that dharma, and once he succeeded in his dharma of fighting that battle, utilize it for seva, then you become the greatest sannyasi. It doesn't mean that we have to, real detachment isn't about, the saffron dress, which we may associate with renunciation, or even the vows that some people may make. A real sannyasi is one who dedicates their life in serving others. And there's no better example of this than our founder, Srila Prabhupada. He came from India, as many of us may have, but he came in 1965 on a boat where planes were extremely expensive, and he was just starting out. On that boat, it took him 2 months to cross from India to the US, and he had nothing but just 40 rupees with him and some sets of Srimad Bhagavatam. On that journey, he suffered 2 heart attacks. But throughout that, once he arrived in New York, he didn't know whether to turn left or to turn right. But his mood was, I'm here to serve, not to try and enjoy. And by imbibing his dharma, his purpose, and sharing what he had generously, we see that he established 108 temples and was able to inspire so many followers, and it's one of the reasons why we are here. And we too, in that same mood of service, we can also achieve success. And so we will find that at the end of life, we can't carry any success that we achieve. It will all be left behind. But what we do carry with us is all the hearts that we've touched, the incredible relationships that we built, all the selfless acts that we have performed. All of those things carry with us wherever we travel after this life. And so the Bhagavad Gita teaches us, live in the immediate, but focus on the ultimate. And when we do these things side by side, we live a successful life materially and spiritually. And this is called Karma Yoga. So, as I mentioned, we'll just summarize some of the key points. Karma Yoga is going beyond just the action and finding a way to connect that beyond ourselves, using it in selfless service. And the way we can do that is through 2 things. One is to act according to our dharma, and secondly, serve with generosity. Thank you so much. So anybody have any questions, comments? Please.
Can you expand a little bit on how to act according to our dharma?
Okay, good question. So for the benefits of online viewers, I'll just repeat the question. You asked, can I expand on how we can act according to our dharma, right? Have you heard of something called varnashrama? Yeah? What is your understanding of varnashram?
So varnashram dharma is like according to your name.
Somewhat. Yeah. That's fine. So you actually have a reasonably good understanding. So Varnashram actually can be split into two things. Our position in life, which is Varna, and our qualities, which is, the other way around. Varna is our qualities, and ashram is our position in life. So there are four positions, first of all. There's brahmacharya, which means student life. There's grihastha, which means married life. There's vanaprasth, which is retired life. And then there's sannyas, which is renunciate life. And then there's four varnas that are broadly described. There's brahmanas, so those are the kind of your teachers, your saints, those who live according to a higher purpose. Then you have your kshatriyas, who are your administrative class. Then you have your vaishyas, that is your mercantile class, so there's your business people. And then you have shudras, who are your working class. And society has all of these. It's not that one is higher than the other. Just like we all need a head, we all need hands, we all need legs, So society similarly needs all of these. The misunderstanding comes from that we are born with a particular nature. Yes, we are born with a particular nature, but we can also cultivate a nature. So it's not that just because I have a parent who is a doctor, that makes me a doctor, right? Would you want to get surgery done from somebody who's simply the son of a doctor? No, right? Similarly, you wouldn't hire a lawyer who simply had a father or mother who's a lawyer. You'd go beyond that. So we don't just take the family that we're born in as our nature. We try to understand, and there's various tools that we can use in today's day and age. There's things like personality tests, that help us to understand what our inclinations are, what kind of work that we may be better off with. So somebody may get told, they're a good listener, for example. So perhaps a career that involves listening may be good for them. Somebody may get told they're very good with their hands. So something active, may be good for them. Again, everybody's different. So we can understand from these kind of modern tests what our nature is. And also, we can take feedback from those who know us well, that they can observe what is our nature, and they can share that with us as feedback. And that helps us to understand, yes, perhaps this is what my dharma is. Does that help? Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for your question. Does anybody else have any questions? Or perhaps any realizations that you've had, from anything that we've shared today?
My understanding is we have four spiritual paths, like dharma, jnana, vairagya, and bhakti. So when you have dharma, as you have mentioned, so dharma, we can adopt something, then we can have vairagya, because dharma, we are reading something, the spiritual and all that, then we have the vairagya comes from the dharma. Dharma, jnana, so it's just increasing our knowledge to that pathway, what we have chosen. So dharma, jnana, vairagya will come, and bhakti. So bhakti means when we have into that, that give you bhakti, and then you can do your seva according to which pathway you have chosen. So 4 and 5, so dharma, jnana, vairagya, and bhakti.
Thank you. Yes, so there are different ways to understand this philosophy. There's so much philosophy that we have within our Vedic tradition. So there's different ways to understand it. Even if we just look at the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that there are 3 sections in it. The first 6 chapters are known as Karma Yoga. The middle section is known as Bhakti Yoga, and the last 6 chapters, the last section, is known as Jnana Yoga. So, like this, there's different ways we can understand it, and our understanding is Vairagya, as you mentioned, is actually a byproduct of practicing these different types of yoga. So yeah, it's definitely an understanding that we can have, but there's so many different, and that's the richness of our Vedic tradition. There's so many ways to understand our Vedic philosophy. Thank you for sharing. Any other questions, comments? Yes.
No question, but I just wanted to say it's such a wonderful session because a few things that you have said today, it actually made me jolt because it's something which I've felt recently, but never said out loud.
That's really nice.
I just wanted to thank you for this session.
Thank you so much for being here. And ultimately we understand that nothing happens by chance. So you being here was ordained by Krishna, and he wanted you to hear this, and he wanted me to say whatever I said for all of our purpose. And ultimately what I say, first and foremost, is for my own benefit. But if it was something in what I said resonated with you, then I'm grateful. Hare Krishna. So if there's no other comments, I'll just leave with one note, is if I've said anything that has offended anybody, then I beg your forgiveness. But if I've said something that's benefited you, then it is only by the mercy of our previous teachers who have shared this knowledge with us. Thank you so much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. So after this, there will be kirtans happening, and there's also prasadam in the Haveli. Hare Krishna.
I was in a workshop, so I just came out, I was like, who's giving it a chat? And I was like, it's brilliant. I haven't seen you in a while.
It's been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah, how have you been?
She's looking after me somehow.
Good.
I'm
You taking it easy?
But I guess you could say. It's also just been quite intense. But yeah, the intensity is always there to help us grow.
True.
So I'm trying to see it happen.
Alright. Oh, Mr. Association. Yeah.
I'm definitely keen to have an association, like in siblings. I'm Prayag.
Huh?
Prayag.
Very nice class, thank you. You explained the way that I understood.
Thank you.
It was very heartfelt, your class. There's a lot of humility in the way you were delivering. I'm not just saying that as a friend. No, it was really, especially when answering such a conflicting question, what you said earlier, you answered it in a very, like you were honouring what he was also doing as well. So that takes a lot. It takes a lot of self-control. So yeah.
Just trying to follow, like we have so many examples, Guru Maharaj, one of his main principles is, making sure that everybody feels accepted. Because until that happens and people aren't receptive.
That's true. Yes.
Thank you so much. How can I encourage you to also share this knowledge?
I'm still finding my way. I think, it's like, I'm still finding my way. It's good to see you.
Hopefully I'll get to spend some more time with you, Richie, and Seema also for a long
I
time.
know, well, we were here yesterday for Congrats Day, Festival Day, Richie was doing a play, and she's really coming out. So,
You guys are doing okay?
We're good. It's just, as you know, it's intense, but I'm also, there was something you said in class that kind of gave me a bit of, I don't know, wisdom, like how, like my duty as a wife. So just ruminating on that.
Do you have a minute?
Yes, of course.
I'm just trying to understand one of the things that you said today. It's like, this is my perception, though you can correct me if I'm wrong. But whoever we are today is based on our experiences so far. So with all these external AI tools and everything telling us what kind of person we are and what career we have to take and everything, that's based on the experiences we have faced so far. If we stick to that and try to take up the roles that is recommended by, influencing by the external influence, how do we actually get to know what kind of person we were meant to become? We all have a calling, or that can be completely different from who I am today. Because I'm an introvert, but my dreams want me to become a successful entrepreneur or something like that. So I'm just trying to understand that.
It's a very deep question.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Prabhu Nityananda Advaita Gadadhar Vivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavangscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathan Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Sri Sakanitam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna,